pass to Johnson. Johnson still going. Dummies again. Johnson. Into the one to Brown. Brown goes in to score.
Oh, he's serving it down the touchline. Oh, this is unbelievable. They're going to win it. Oh, what scenes here, what scenes. LeBron James, a shot in history. LeBron stands alone. The NBA's all-time scoring record now belongs to LeBron James.
How good. We're on Surly in the Saddle for another episode of STS on this fine Thursday morning. She's been an eventful sporting weekend to say the least. Of course, in the world of the NRL, it's been dramas galore. We've had this DCE scenario and then the unfortunate news that broke yesterday. Dylan Walker granted an immediate release. We'll touch more on that shortly in the NRL segment. A great win from the Warriors though last Friday night at the Fortress. That was huge scenes. Great to see about 25,000 odd Warriors fans out there on a Friday night too. That place is just so special when the stands are packed. Of course, the All Whites, they had a massive result during the week as well. They've booked their spot into the 2026 Football World Cup, which we'll touch on in the weekly wrap. Carlos Olberg with his dub too. Black Caps going great guns. There's this Liam Lawson drama. So lots of boxes to tick today. Before we get into all of that, TAB, headline sponsor of the pod, and they've dished up another podcast code exclusive to STS listeners. This week, the code is MARGIN, and it applies to any rugby league game this weekend when you place a bet on the winning team and margin. So, you chuck the code MARGIN in your TAB app or on the website in the promos section. Then you pick which game you want to punt on. You back your team to win, either 1 to 12 or 13 plus. If you get the win part right, but you get the margin wrong, the TAB will refund your bet and bonus cash up to $20. So to give you an example, because that could be a little bit confusing to some of you, type in the code MARGIN, head to the Warriors-Tigers game because that's the one that tickles my fancy. I'm going to jump on the Warriors 13 plus at $5.50 at time of recording. If that doesn't hit, but the Warriors win 1 to 12, then I'll get my money back in bonus cash up to $20. Again, the code is MARGIN. Chuck it in on the TAB app or website, exclusive to the first 200 listeners which claim it. Really appreciate the TAB for getting around us and chucking us these codes too, so we can have a cheeky little Carmichael punt this weekend with green ticks on bet slips, always the goal. And as always, please gamble responsibly. Right, special guest this week, Shaun Stevenson. He's back in the country, bye week for the Chiefs, so I thought I'd get him in for a bit of a catch up and a yarn on all things Chiefs. Hope you enjoy. Right, bye week, so thought I'd get my old mate back in the mixer. He's actually live in the studio too. Last time we spoke, you were in a nice little, 3-beddy apartment in Tokyo, living the dream.
Yeah, it's nice to be in some fresh air and good to be in your your little humble boat in here. So, it's good to be home. And, yeah, obviously, bye week, so you can come in and spin some yarns and talk some shit.
Mate, the first thing I saw of you being back home was you driving a Tesla in Hamilton. What's the go there, bro? Is that the whip from now on?
No, just happy in the world, just, one step at a time.
Yeah.
But no, I don't think I'll be delving into the EV car market anytime soon. It was 400 kilometres and you have to keep charging at, random places around the country probably wasn't it. So, back to the two-stroke engines and chewing up the gas.
Any close calls, bro? Did you almost run flat?
But it's there was some pretty close calls because something wasn't happening with the charger at the public, the fast superchargers. So
yeah.
I'll literally have to go home and charge it from the wall, which would be 3 kilowatts compared to the superchargers, which is 250 kilowatts. It'd be 45 minutes for a full charge. But when I got home, it'd be 36 hours until full charge.
Rough.
So it'd be
Rough.
Every time I got a chance to plug it in and charge it, I just had to, because otherwise it would just chew through it.
Yeah.
So
3 games back now, bro, with the Chiefs. Is it good to be back home? Did it take you long to get back into the mix with the lads? I guess you've been a part of the team for 9 years now, and the majority of the team stayed the same over the last kind of 2 or 3 years. Was it almost as if you'd never left, or?
Yeah, not much had changed from what we'd been doing previous years. So, but no, it was awesome to be back. I literally got off the flight, flew out Sunday after my last game in Japan, got in 5 a.m, straight to training, Monday, Tuesday, and then off to Fiji on the Wednesday, played over there, which was obviously a bit different weather conditions to what I've been playing over in Japan. So
Just a little bit.
just a little bit, yeah. It was like 35 degrees, like piping hot, and then literally I'm about to run out and play, and it's just thunderstorms, and it's like I couldn't even see the grass because it was just waterlogged. So,
Wow.
But it's been awesome to be back. Obviously, yeah, like I said, it's you can't beat being back home, and Chiefs has been home for me for the last 11 years now. So, yeah, it's been awesome. The boys obviously were pretty off it in a good way though. Like,
Yeah. Well, was there much banter from the lads?
oh, sort of. Like, they named the team on the Tuesday, and I wasn't actually sure if I was going to be playing or not, and I was on the bench anyway. It got to my name, and they put up, came up with my name and jersey number, and just got this loud as boo ring out of the ring out, and I was like, oh well, yeah, that's probably fair enough. I probably obviously missed all the preseason and the last 3 games, so. Yeah, I guess I'll just take that as a bit of man love, probably the best man love you can get. So
yeah, it's just a bit of banter, right?
Yeah. Had to shout a couple of coffee cuts to make up for my time away. So, but no, it's been I mean, I've been here long enough to understand what goes on in the club. So yeah, it's been awesome just to rekindle with everyone, and I guess it's awesome to run out in front of the Chiefs fans because I feel like they're the best rugby fans going around. So can't complain about being home.
Is that the go? Is it if you owe the lads, do you shout coffees?
Well, I mean, they probably could have just punished me for because obviously I missed preseason and I missed 3 games. It's a bit of a hefty fine. Like if you think about how much I've missed of the season,
Right.
So
Cordy would have been tough.
Yeah, well, we actually haven't had a quarter yet, so we did have a small one on Friday night after we played, but a few of the boys didn't turn up, so that was pretty disappointing. But that's all good. So, but yeah, I'll probably just have to wait till Mad Monday rolls around and see what the damage is there.
Hard. Hopefully celebrating a chip, so it won't matter. You mentioned before, bro, you rolled straight into Fiji game, and there's something about the draw over there. Like, as a fan watching, they're so hard to beat. They won 6 of their last 7 over there last year, and they're 1 from 2 there this year. But what is it about going to that place? Like, the weather, you said, was rough.
Yeah.
Is there more to it than just that? Because how can they be so unreal at home and then on the road? They've been better this year, but it's a massive contrast.
Yeah, I'll probably say, like, obviously the weather and stuff like that, like, it is a lot hotter, but I'll probably say, like, we probably didn't stick to what we were going to do in terms of our game plan, and we probably just got out-muscled, and once that crowd comes into the game and they get their momentum shifts, they're a pretty hard team to stop. They literally, once that crowd is roaring, it's pretty deafening in that little stadium. And we probably, to be honest, it was my first week back, and everything seemed all good in terms of training, and but I guess a few things that we probably didn't technically get right, and probably a few plays that we probably should have capitalised on and finished them off, but we didn't, and that let them back into the game. And you just can't afford to do that. Like, they're a different beast at home, and I think for all of the comp, I think every team's never an easy team to play, easy team to beat. The comp this year is obviously, like you've seen, has just been so tight. So you only have to be off a little bit, and any team can hurt you, so which we found out that day. So pretty disappointing, I guess, to go over there and lose that one. But like we say, we always learn more from your losses than your wins. So boys bounced back, and guess came out with a gritty one against the Blues the week after. So
mate, be honest, against the Blues, how many times have you rewatched that flick pass to put Rona over in the corner, bro? That was pretty Rasley stuff.
Yeah, I actually haven't watched it too much, to be honest. I mean, in all honesty, I was one of those things. Wouldn't say practice all the time. It just, just came obviously in that time I wanted to work, could have easily gone 10 feet tall or 10 feet backwards, and could have probably got a telling off and a slap on the ass afterwards from the coach saying, what was that? But it came off, and you just ride that adrenaline rush, I guess, after that throughout the game. And I mean, I'm happy it came off. And so it was I guess it was pretty cool to, ice those moments and that first part of the game.
What is it about Blues versus Chiefs games, bro? Like, obviously, everyone knows the Blues are a better team than where they're at on the ladder at the moment, but it looked like they played their best game of the season and lifted to another level. Is that just down to the rivalry?
Yeah, I'd say rivalry. I mean, it's tough. Like I said, the competition is so tough, right? So there's only so much, or only little things that are gonna, that can swing either way and get the win, or you can take that L. I guess we're kind of similar boat like 4 or 5 years ago, just before COVID or just after COVID, where we lost like 6 in a row, but we had a great start to the season. After COVID, we came back, and it's tough, because you feel like you're doing everything you can at training, and it's just one of those things that just doesn't go your way, or those close calls. So, but in terms of the rivalry, I think it's just one of those things. Like, obviously, rematch of the final last year, and we got up. I guess the first grudge match at Eden Park in the first round, so we knew they were going to be hungry, and you add in the pressure of trying to get their season back on track. It's a pretty hungry team, so we knew it was always going to be a tough game. Like I said, like any team you play in this comp is going to be tough, so it's just extra special, and I guess spicy that it was a rematch of last year's final, and they were coming down to our home turf, so it's always I guess a tough match every time you get to play them, and there is that rivalry of Blues versus Chiefs, because it's Battle of the Bombay Hills.
Yeah, for sure. You say the comp's close this year. I reckon that's an understatement, bro. Like, I can't remember the last time Super Rugby has been this tight, and as a fan, it's unreal to watch. Like, if you look at the ladder at the moment, 4 of the teams are Australian in the top 6. Do you think that's down to like the Rebels leaving and the talent being a bit more spread out there? And how exciting is it for you as a player to know like there's no weeks off now? Like, there's no longer any team that's an easy beat. Look at the Force. Unreal.
100%. Yeah, honestly, it's unreal for you guys. It's unreal for us. Unreal to get bums on seats, because they know that it's going to be a close game and a good game of footy. So I think everyone's winning in terms of their aspect. Obviously, it's guttering to see, people lose their jobs and stuff through another team going under. But, I mean, you just have to look at how good the Aussie teams are playing, and, they're just going to grow another league probably. Everyone starts to find their feet and find out who they really are as a team after like 4 or 5 rounds. So, I think it's just awesome that the comp's got so good, and, I think everyone's pretty surprised in terms of, how good it is to rock up to a game, and it doesn't matter who's playing who, first, last. It's always gonna, like you only have to watch the last couple of weeks, and it's so close. So, I think it's unreal for the spectator, but it's also unreal for the players to come in and know that you're probably you're going to get a decent crowd, because everyone wants to come watch Super Rugby at the moment.
The games are high scoring, and I don't feel like the defence has been bad. I just feel like the speed of play has increased, the ball's in play longer. Teams are really throwing it round and unleashing on attack too, and it seems like teams that just kick the ball away aimlessly now are getting punished. Have you noticed a shift from, I guess, last year, then you went away to Japan, you came back to the comp, 5 rounds in, were you like, shit, this is improved a bit, like increased?
Yeah, I mean, I guess from my own point of view, obviously attacking, as an attacking mindset in my position, it's gun for us. And I think just the players that are playing the comp, obviously, like it's pretty lethal in terms of teams attack and stuff. So obviously defense coaches is going to be a bit under it, trying to come up with ways to stop teams. And I think you will find that like later in the comp, once the weather starts settling in, it's a bit wetter and whatnot, and times are where times is going to start putting pressure on teams to make the top 6 or have must-win games and stuff. You'll probably see some better defences, or defences will get a lot better.
Yeah.
But I think well, it's hard to judge in terms of, because obviously Chiefs have always been a team where we like attacking with the ball and stuff. So but obviously I think a lot of teams can be looking at their defense and be like, we probably need to strap in and probably stop some teams from scoring too many tries. Otherwise, it's going to be get 50-35 score lines and. That's just not out. Right? But like it's happening in every game where one team's out for a big lead and then the other team comes back, or it's just high scoring games. So, I feel like because it's still daylight savings, the weather's nice. Everyone's just throwing the ball around, but
come finals, it'll tighten up. You mentioned the scoreline on the weekend, bro, and that was an exciting display of rugby for a fan for you guys. Up 43-7 at half time, then it gets back to within 8 points with 5 minutes to go. Were you nervous? Were you freaking out a little bit? Were you comfortable? Like, what was the feeling like post-game? Because obviously an unreal first half, you guys put on a clinic, but second half, Moana really brought it back.
Yeah, I think we probably just went to sleep in the second half. I mean, you can't. Well, it literally was a game of two halves, as everyone's saying. But you just got to be on for the whole 80. It's I think it was pretty disappointing. We did lead a bonus point slip after being up by that much. So I think we just got to keep focused. It's one of those things that whatever the individual needs to do to make sure that they're in the game the whole time, not just from the first minute, but after half time. They can come in and still do a job. But no, there wasn't really too much panic, to be honest. Like, everyone was pretty level-headed. And you got to give credit to Moana, like it's like any team, right? And the momentum, and once it's in your favour, and you get a few calls here and there, and it's pretty easy to just get up for it. So we just need to be better in terms of staying in the moment and playing for the full 80.
Damian McKenzie, bro, whenever he's in Super Rugby level, he's just the guy, right? And to be fair, he did it for the All Blacks and was voted, first 5 in the team of the year. Yeah. So he's been carving up, but I feel like every year for Chiefs, his game just goes to another level. What's he like to play with, and what's he like during the week, during prep? Because he seems like one of those guys who just chances his arm and makes something happen, but it's not that easy, is it? Like, he ticks all the boxes for the fundamentals too, and I think sometimes people look at him as like this live wire X-factor player, but he does the basics well right too.
Yeah, I mean, he's been outstanding for how long? He's just been so good, and it was awesome to see him get a proper crack at a run a test last year, and I feel like people, it's pretty hard to come in and out, once you've had a few games under your belt and been given the time in the saddle. It's, it's easy just to, it's not easy, but it's, in terms of like, you being as a 10, it's, for confident levels and whatnot. So, I mean, as we're probably growing older together, we've, probably built a good combination in terms of knowing what kind of style he likes to play and bouncing off each other. So, he's been unreal. I think he's the best 10 in the country. It's just been awesome to come back from Japan, and it's always easy, fitting back into the team when you've got players like that and players that you've played along with for a while. So, I mean, he's just been outstanding since the start of the season. So, may long continue for the rest of the season.
Hard out. Watching you guys, you remind me a lot of like a NRL half and fullback, because off broken play, I always see you floating around his shoulder. Looks like you guys are talking about the pictures you guys are seeing on defense. And then once you're in structure, he always looks to you on like cutout balls to get you one-on-one. Is that a combination that you guys just have naturally because you've played so long together, or is that something you guys are really focusing on at the moment?
No, it's just come naturally, I think. To be honest, like I said, we've played so long together, and we've probably had the most games in 10s, like a 10-15 combination the last couple of years. It's Oh, hey, I'm not going to say it's a perfect world. Like we still bark at each other when one of us wants the ball, or whatnot, because that's just what players do. Is So, but we just respect each other in terms of knowing what we can do, and obviously we do talk on the run, and we do find each other, or playing with each other, it's pretty good in terms of just knowing where he's going to be, where I'm going to be. So it's pretty easy to just bounce off ideas, and I guess it's pretty fun playing that kind of footy when everyone's on the same page, and you're not trying to overplay your hand as well. Like you just know where players are going to be, and I guess it's just good to play that kind of front foot footy with someone like him, because he's always going to be able to create something, and you can just play off that.
Leroy Carter's been pretty unreal as well. His first year in Super Rugby, we all saw how talented he was with the Sevens, but mate, he's made every poster winner. How do you reckon he's been going on the wane?
Yeah, old Francis Hogard, halfback / winger.
Bro, it's out the gate.
Yeah.
So Naitoa mentioned that he is like a 9 as well.
Yeah.
How does that work? Because it's quite contrasting.
Yeah,
like I get that he's
mean,
quick and a good skill set, but
yeah, like I think he was originally like a halfback coming through school and stuff, and then obviously he's been at Sevens a bit, and probably changed his game. Well, not changed his game, but like developed different skills, and he's been a beast the last 5 weeks. Really coming to his own. Still trying to, he's probably got a lot to give in terms of still not being the finished product, but what he's shown in the last 5 weeks, it's been pretty cool to watch from the sidelines, but also coming in and seeing it live. So I knew that he could do that because he's been outstepped by Gunners for Bay Plenty the last couple of years. So it's just been cool seeing new blood coming through and coming in, and just I guess it suited the style of footy that we play for him to come in from that Sevens level from Bay Plenty. So it's been good to just see a guy like him come in, and I guess the opportunities he's had, he's taken with both hands. So it's been awesome. So stoked as for him to be in our environment, and he's carving up.
Yeah. Bye week this week. What does that look like for you guys, bro? Obviously, 6 weeks in? This is round 7 this week. Is it chance to put the feet up, or do you guys still have to go down shortly and train? Is it full week off? What's the vibes?
Yeah, we're lucky we got the full week off, so it's been nice. I think it's been
Jeez, you've had
10
a good,
10
3 games
10
and then a
10
week off.
10 games on the trot since I had my last bye week in Japan.
True. There you go.
So body was a bit beaten up. So it's probably come at the right time just to relax a bit. And boys have been given the whole week off, which has been nice just to go do whatever they need to do to fill their cup up. And a lot of boys play golf. Boys will go see their family if they're in New Zealand or in different places. So just filling the cup up, and obviously it's pretty taxing. 4 weeks, and the body gets pretty beaten up. So boys will be out fishing, golf, just doing whatever they need to do to be right, and bit of training here and there, gym and a couple of runs and off feet. So probably good. Bye came at a good time for the boys just to rest up and get set for another block of games.
Is this like a landmark you guys mark in the season when you look at the draw? Is it like, let's just get through to that first bye and then reassess from there?
Yeah, I think, obviously I missed the first couple of games, but in terms of what the run we had was a tough run to start off with. So, obviously the boys just, to come away with, 5 wins would have been, unreal. Obviously we had a bit of a hiccup against the draw. You probably take that in terms of, in the scheme of things of, where we want to be on the table, and obviously first at the moment. But then, I guess we'll see after this weekend. But, can't complain of, I guess the start, and, everyone can come back, and, everyone wants to be better and refreshed and ready to rip into the next block of games.
Next Friday, hopefully, touch wood, will be your 100th game for the Chiefs, which is pretty unreal, bro. You'll become the 11th Centurion for the club, which is massive. Mentioned before, I think, was 2016 your first year?
Yeah, first year, 2016.
So 9 years at the club. It's a very long time. You've given your heart and soul. How special will that be, bro, trotting out onto the mighty Waikato Stadium for your 100th game?
Yeah, home away from home, it's been it's been a hell of a journey, from when I was 60 kgs, dripping wet, leaving school, to where I am now. It's been a lot of ups and downs, a long journey. But I can't, I wouldn't have changed it for the world. Chiefs took me in as, just a teenager, and, I've met some lifelong friends, still got some lifelong friends, met so many different people along the way, from administrators to people that I call family now to, friends and, the whole works. Had some outstanding coaches. It's been a heck of a journey. I guess hasn't really sunk in yet. To be honest, I haven't really thought about it. So I guess it's one of those things that you just, you want to treat it anything, as any other week. It is. I just want to get to, I guess, if I get the opportunity to run back out there and play my 100th on FMG Stadium, it's a stadium that's given me so much, and like I said, we've got the best fans in the world, so it'll be pretty special to do it if I get to do it at home and in front of my family and friends, as well as the best fan club in the world.
It's probably a tough question to answer on the spot, bro, but just thinking, like, you've had some unreal achievements. All Blacks debut, Māori All Blacks, which I know is a jersey you hold really close to your heart as well. Bars, Centurion for the Chiefs. Where would that rank? They'll be right up there, right? You don't have to order them because it's probably too hard now. But
yeah, I'd say Chiefs Centurion's pretty high up there in terms of, I guess that's what made you as a player. You learn, how to, be a professional. You learn how to fend for yourself. The friendships that you made. The ups and downs of being a professional as well. So many highs and lows, I guess, through non-selection, through injury. I guess being a Centurion, it's one of those things that you sit back after a while. You probably don't sit back until you finish your career, and you think about all the things that happened in that. How many years I get to play for the Chiefs. It's definitely up there, because I feel like this is the place of, grown to love over the last 11 years, and I wouldn't change it for the world in terms of playing for a different franchise. Obviously, sport's is an imperfect world where, you have things don't go your way, and, you're thinking about changing and whatnot, but Chiefs have given me so much in terms of being in my corner and backing me, from the front office all the way to the support staff to the players. So, if we get there, it's one of those things that I guess I'll probably look back in due time. Because I guess it's one of those things, bro. It's just like anything you go do, debut, whatever. The week just goes so fast. You know? So, I'll probably have a proper sit down about it and a few beers and whatnot, and whenever that time is, and think about all the good times, and guess what made me as a rugby player.
Finally, bro, obviously the rest of the season's still to come. You guys are top of the table, in a good position. It's a congested ladder. There's teams that are chasing you for sure, but you still got guys like Wallace to come back. Anton's been missing the last couple of weeks. You must be overall pretty happy as a camp. Obviously still things you want to work on, but you can't be sitting any higher than first.
Yeah. I mean, the players you just named, the world-class players, still got Josh Lord, Anthony, Caleb Trask.
Shit, you guys are stacked.
A few other boys that I'm missing, but I think the boys have rallied real well the last few weeks. Obviously, a few injuries popped up here and there, and that's just part of sport. Is that next man stands up, and I think as a squad we've assembled this year. So from 1 to 50 players, or how many we've got in our squad, it's been next man stand up, and we always say we train with the two best teams, the team that gets to play that week and put the jersey on, but then the boys who prepare them well on a Thursday, or the week, Tuesday, Thursday. That's the opportunity to show the coaches that they deserve to be in there. So we're pretty happy with it. I mean, obviously, like it says, hasn't been perfect, but so much more footy to be played, and I guess it's pretty exciting. Just seeing what we can do at the moment, but what we could also get to in the next wee while.
Both up the Chiefs. Well, I appreciate you for stopping by, bro. Bye
Cheers, bro.
week. I know you'd rather be on the golf course, but appreciate you slinging through for a yarn, and looking forward to being in the stands, hopefully next Friday night to
Cheers,
watch you
brother.
become the 11th. How good.
Appreciate it, bro. Thank you very much for having me.
Cheers, lad. Struth, to say she's been chaos in the NRL would almost be an understatement. What a 7 days it's been. You've had Josh Curran penalised for impersonating a ref. You've had a mascot, an 80-year-old bloke inside the Rabbitohs mascot suit, be sanctioned for pushing a supporter in the stands. We've had this Daily Cherry Evans drama. Dylan Walker, unfortunately, he's been granted an early release. The Cheese, he's off to the Bunnies. It's been complete chaos. So let's start with the latest and breaking news from the NRL this week. We'll kick her off with Dylan Walker, of course. Unfortunate news for Warriors fans, and that's most of you. So let's tuck into that. Been granted a release effective immediately on compassionate grounds to head back to Australia to be closer to his family. And you can't begrudge that at all. I see a lot of speculation out there in the media, a lot of people weighing in, fans too, saying that we shouldn't have let him go. But I don't have kids personally, but mates that do, they struggle 3 or 4 days apart from their little ones. So the fact that Walks has been able to hold on for this long is pretty unreal. And it does suck to lose him, but I think the human aspect has to come into play here. Really unfortunate circumstances for us because we lose a gun of a player, but it just is what it is. Unfortunately, being the only Kiwi side, we're going to keep facing these obstacles too. But yeah, this one does hurt, in all honesty. 46 games for us. He was unreal for us off the bench in 2023. 2024, stepped up to the plate and started when Tohu was ruled out in that locking position and went great guns there as well. He's been huge for us off the bench so far this year. His impact has been unreal. Gun player, great bloke. Heck of a leader too, which makes it the complete trifecta. Sad to see Walks go. Would have loved to have seen him round out the year. Just as we get back-to-back wins too, it seems like a bit of a kick in the guts, but it is what it is. Circumstances outside of our control. Walks wants to be with his family, so off he goes to Parramatta. And Para, they get a great signing and someone that'll certainly have an instant impact into their roster as well. In terms of the positives, because that's where I like to go straight away, you know me, glass half full as a Warriors fan. There are a few positives we can take from this, and that's around the 3 most likely scenarios that I personally see rolling out off the back of this in regards to team selection. The first one, Sam Healey, potential he could come in to the 17 now, make his NRL debut. Named on an extended bench this week after missing last week, I think with a shoulder injury. It was only a small one though, so good to see him back. He's now a chance to come in and wear that 14 jersey, and him and Wade would be one of the great 1-2 punches when it comes to attacking threats around the ruck. You'd probably have to take Wade off to bring Sam on because he is an out-and-out hooker. At the same time, bit of a bulky lad. There's probably a chance you could chuck him in the middle at 13 just for some minutes. Haven't seen him play there though, not sure if he has. So you'd probably take Wade off for around 20 to 30, give him a break, inject Healy, and he's certainly a good option in the 14 because as a young player, he has so much potential and I'll be really keen to see him get a crack. The second option, and this is without tinkering too much, is we could see an increase in minutes for Dimitrik and Lecker, our 2 young guns off the Remu. Lecker, unreal last week. We'll touch more on that shortly. Dimitrik, not quite as strong of a performance from him last week, but he's been great for us off the bench in our first couple games prior to that too, and I'd love to see him get a bigger crack. He's a big body, can play through the middle, he's skillful too, and he's someone that will be more than capable of playing that type of 14 role, coming in to give some relief for some minutes through the locks, give Aaron Clark a spell. So that's exciting for Warriors fans as well. The third option, and this is one I've been seeing floated around all across the place today, and it appears to be probably the most popular one with the fans, to be fair, would be to bring Tamaite into either the 6 role or the 14 jersey. Then you move CHT to 14 if Tamaite comes in and starts at 6, Or if Tamare's at 14, and you're still with me, you're not confused, then CHT starts at 6. Then when Aaron Clark needs a break, Tamare comes on, Chanel would move into lock, and that's how it would work rotation-wise. Of course, Tamare, he's been carving up a New South Wales Cup, but CHT and Lukey have been going good in grade 2. T, he's been knocking on the door, him and Rocco Berry, ever since they laced up in the Cup side. So now, this could be the chance where he gets his opportunity. Named at 18th man this week, so perhaps he just comes straight in, and that's how it rolls out. It's great to have options. Again, we do have depth this year. Sucks to lose Walks. We've now got a load of money on the salary cap for this season too. Not sure if we're going to be able to spend it from outside the club or if we're just going to keep upgrading guys. But if big names do come onto the market, all of a sudden there's a bit of drama, someone wants out for the remainder of the season, then we'll be in a great position to strike. If not, we still have great depth in our top 30 squad, and we can adjust to things like this. So it does suck to lose Walks, but there could be some positive narratives depending how you want to spin it for the 17 moving forward. Really keen to see how Webby plays this one, who comes in for this week, and then longer term, if they look to tinker with it a little more as well. Perhaps this week, short notice, you just make the one change, someone like a Healy straight in, and then you're not touching your spine. Or does T get the crack? Look, I think we'll know closer to kick-off. That 48-hour mark, once players start to get cut from an extended bench, will be a great indication. DCE on the move. This has been crazy scenes. Never have I seen one of the greats to ever lace up for their club have to go through a contract situation like this. He's literally one of their captains, played over 300 NRL games, one club man, Queensland captain, one of the best sevens going around in the comp, and there's a shortage of those at the moment. For him to not be offered a contract until a commercial break live in a TV show just seems bizarre. And this situation, of course, played out during the week. It was all go. It was interesting to hear DCE talk on Channel 9 basically half an hour after this story came out too. That timing had to be planned, and it just so happened to be Gus Gould was right next to him during it too, just singing his praises of how he's handled the situation. But it truly does seem bizarre. Of course, Manly, they hadn't made an offer for the DCE. Their excuse was that no other clubs came to the party back into last year, so they felt like they didn't have to make an offer. That seems crazy to me. Also, the fact no other clubs made an offer. I thought if DCE was to come onto the market, then certainly there'd be some teams in the mix for him. But Manly, they just sat back on their heels, didn't make any offers. Now Daly wants out, and fair enough to him too. He can't help but feel a little bit disrespected. I thought he handled the situation really well, and it just goes to highlight how much is going on in that Manly backroom that I think when you look at their recent plays, moves they've made, of course, signed Josh Schuster to a massive deal. That didn't work out. Let go of Humphreys and Fainu in the halves. That has aged really poorly too. Now, we have this DCE decision. It doesn't look great for their CEO at the moment. And this opens up the big question, where to now for Cherry Evans? Straight away, I think of three most logical options. The first one being he heads back to Redcliffe, his junior club. They have a lot of coin. I believe they've already made an offer straight away. And this would make a lot of sense to me. He could play the 7, Katoa the 6, young gun, superstar potential. Who better of a mentor than the People's Neck in DCE? Plus he gets to go home, back to Queensland. Bit of a fairy tale story. If you're going to play for another club, making it your home club where it all started seems to make the most sense. The second option, pure money play, and possibly a big up yours to Manly too. You go to Bondi, you join the Roosters. They have a truckload of cash in the cap as well, which is rare for them. They always have heaps of cash, but this one is in the cap. They then could run out their own mentoring program. Chuck him at 7, Sam Walker at 6. Who better player for him to learn off? Then you got Tedesco, that superstar forward pack. They would be back in the premiership business for sure, and that would really rattle some cages. The third one, Bulldogs. I reckon they'll be in the mixer too. Like I said before, I don't think it was ironic Gus Gould was right there, singing DCE's praises, telling him how well he's handled the situation. I reckon Gus is keen to get his hands on this superstar playmaker, pair him up with Matty Burden at 6, and they would be off to the races races. Leo Thompson going there next year as well. They'll be forming a formidable roster, and they're doing some pretty cool things in the Dogs at the moment. So wouldn't be surprised if DCE had some interest in going there as well. Really keen to see how this one plays out. Again, just shocked that it came to this. Semi still can't believe it, but that's the Rugby League soap opera. NRL 360 taking live contract offers from the Manly CEO and owner during an ad break. An absolute shambles. Shout out to the Cheese. He's off to the Bunnies for 2 years too, starting from 2026, but I wouldn't be surprised if he goes there early. Keen to see what he can do under Wayne Bennett. No doubt Wayne will look to whip him into shape, and I reckon that's a nice get for the Bunnies right there. Josh Curran, that penalty, I really can't work that one out. Apparently, it's not in the spirit of the game, imitating a ref. If you missed it, basically called a player offside, said, Matt, you're inside the 10. The player listened to him, believed him, and that led to a line break. He pulled himself out of the line. Bulldogs attacker, I think it was Willison, went straight for that hole. He didn't make a full break. They chopped him down, but it certainly affected the flow of the game. This, to me, though, is play on. If you go to a grassroots field or even professional sports field around the country every weekend, you hear this repetitively. And while I get that it's not in the spirit of the game effectively, I didn't think that that was a penalty, to be fair, but the ref called it at the time. Certainly made for a lot of hilarious memes. Josh Curran, seen all over the internet wearing refereeing kit, so had to have a bit of a giggle at that one too. In terms of your results for last week, on the field, wasn't too much drama, to be fair, although there were some injuries to some big name players, which is going to have a massive impact on the comp over the next few weeks, and also people's fantasy and super coach sides. Kicked off on the Thursday, of course, grand final rematch, Storm beating the Panthers 30 points to 24. In a weird way, though, this one almost felt to me like a bit of a victory to the Panthers. Lost the people's chin, Nathan Cleary, early doors, 8 minutes in, HIA. So for them to still be in the mixer and push the Storm side right down to the wire without Edwards and Cleary, a massive result for them. Jerome Hughes, he copped an injury too, going to be out for a little while as well. So perhaps he wasn't firing on all cylinders. That happened in that same collision, so he could be excused. But I thought Melbourne, perhaps they just sat back a little once Cleary left the game, got a little bit complacent, and the Panthers almost made them pay. Broncos, 26 points to 16, a win over the Cowboys. It wasn't pretty, but a win's a win. Much improved from the Cows, and they can take plenty of positives from that. At the same time, though, that Payne-Haas try did highlight that there's still some issues there for me. Yes, Payne is a beast. He's so hard to stop, offloading like crazy at the moment too, and racking up fantasy points. But that has to be some of the softest middle D I have ever seen for that try. He had a full head of steam. He was back fencing it through, but Reuben Cotter just reached out, barely touched him. That is so off character for him. Then Scotty Drinkwater literally ran the other way to avoid having to try tackle Big Payne in the Haas one-on-one. I get late in the game, fatigue, it's creeping in, but at 20 points to 12 with a chance to get a much-needed win, you'd hope that people would show a jersey and put bodies on the line. I think Todd Payton, his job must be wearing thin at the moment, as unfortunate as that is to say. Still plenty to work on from the Bronx too, but a good win for them. Sharkies, 27 points to 12. They bet the Bunnies. Probably could have been 50, to be fair. They butchered a lot of opportunities. The Bunnies hung tough, though. Ronaldo Mulatalo, probably the standout for me for the Sharks. Him and Trindle, thought both of them had great games. Nico Hines, strong as well. Dolphins, 18. Tigers, 30. If you told me that through the first 3 weeks of the competition, the Tigers would have the best D, lowest points conceded on average per game in the competition, I would have laughed at you. And well done to them. They went down early doors in this game. I think it was 18 points to 6 at one stage, and I was a little bit worried that perhaps that was the end of them, because this Tigers team of the last couple years, they wouldn't have bounced back from a scoreline like that, come back and win this game, but that's certainly what they did. Of course, a new look Tigers team. You can tell they're confident. They're up and about. Uppy Cottersell with a huge performance. I thought he was unreal. Him and Wade Egan have to be the best ball running, ruck manipulating nines in the competition at the moment. Tigers up and about. Taruva with a double as well, scoring tries for fun at the moment. Titans 26 points to 6 over the Knights. Predicted this one. Thought with Leo Thompson out, Kai Pearce-Paul, and then the late scratching of Dylan Lucas too, that that this Titans forward pack would just be too much. It's come at a bit of a cost for them as well. Keanu Keeney picking up a neck injury, report saying he could be out for the rest of the season, if not at least 3 to 4 months. So that's tough scenes for the Titans. Luckily, they still have plenty of fullbacks available, and I think Kieran Foran comes back into the mix very soon as well. So maybe he comes straight back in and plays that half role, which he would prefer rather than the 14, which he was rumoured to be playing back in the preseason. Eels, 8, Dogs, 16. A bit of a disappointing watch this one. Improving signs from the Eels, but they still look so far away. Dogs, good on them, got the win without burden and kick out. That Josh Curran scandal, probably the most exciting part of the game to watch from this one. Doggies, though, 3 from 3 on the trot. I think it's their best start since 2012 as well, so their fans are still fizzing, sitting in second on the ladder at the moment. Huge stuff. And then probably the biggest blowout result of the weekend. Manly 40, the Raiders 12. Do think the scoreline really flatters Manly. I thought the referee in this one had a shocker and ref Canberra out of the game, which Ricky Stewart would completely agree with. He went full Rick Noble, lost the plot in the post-game presser, which is always great to watch. But Manly back to firing on all cylinders, back at home. They're always so dangerous there. Ruben Garrick, 4 tries, freshly become a dad. So to quote Hello Sport, he's got massive DILF energy. They reckon it's the year of the DILF, and he turned it on and didn't let them down. Positive signs for them too. No Tommy T, Lehigh at the back, and they still get a emphatic win right there to bounce back and try and make amends for that Warriors loss back in round 2. Speaking of Warriors, of course, skipped over that one so I could tuck into it a little bit more in deeper review. Friday night, 2 from 2 at home to kick off the 2025 season. It wasn't pretty, but shit did we hang tough. We're in the arm wrestle for about 60 odd minutes. Then, off the back of a couple pieces of individual brilliance, we kicked away, dominated the last 20 minutes where I thought the Roosters really fatigued and got a tough fought win at the Fortress. I think in years gone by, perhaps we wouldn't have won this game. I thought our defense was really strong for the majority of this matchup as well. Some great stats, some players that really put their hands up, and good to see us completing at 86% as well compared to the Roosters' 70%. We actually have the best completion rate in the comp at the moment, 85% over the 3 games. Tigers are in second, and then Manly and Panthers tied for third with 81%. So that's really pleasing. We're protecting the footy when we've got it. It's not a complex attacking system and shape that we're playing, but it is effective. When we get to our points on the field and unleash our strike weapons, then it's good to see us making opposition defences pay. In terms of some standouts and some big plays from my notes from the game, I thought our scramble D was elite all night. You had guys like Mark Nwanganetawase, Domi Young, Tupou, Teddy making a number of nice little half breaks, but it was good to see our numbers getting back on D, fighting to get back, help out their teammates and shut it down in order to not concede points. I thought our scramble was really strong. I thought Lecker was huge off the bench. His impact was massive. He's so strong. He's got good feet. He can offload as well. You just notice when he's on the park, whether it was at centre like he did last year, in the second row like it was in this one, he is just a rugby league handful, and I'm so keen to see what he can become with more minutes and time in saddle. Still only 19 years old. This kid's future is massive. I thought that CHT individual play was huge. Thought it was a really dusty nudge at the time, but man, did he turn it into a brilliant one. There's that old adage, a kick is only as good as its chase. So by that, it was a fucking superb kick. To be fair, just wanted it more than James Tedesco, out-leaped him and dotted down. This was a real momentum changer and a turning point for us in this game. Ali Leatoa, speaking of young guns going great, 2 meaties for him. He's so hard to stop close to the line. Love the way he adjusts his body height as well when he is close to the line. Drops right low. He's a big body. Almost impossible to stop one-on-one at that height. He's a classy footballer, and it's not just on attack too. That shot he put on Sandon Smith, the celebration was elite, and I did have to have a little bit of a giggle because, of course, Sandon dropped the ball, but it went backwards, so it was play on. So it's quite weird to see Ali celebrating that one. I think he thought he'd forced an error, but he's so strong defensively too. He really is the complete package. This week he shifts across to right centre, showing his versatility. I just love watching this bloke play. Massive shout out to C&K, Mr. Safe as Houses, Chance Nickel Klukstad, 316 metres I think it's finished at on NRL.com. An absolute workhorse. He just ran all night, didn't stop working whether on attack, D, kick return. His chat is elite as well, and hopefully this silences a few of those Warriors fans constantly calling for him not to be our fullback. This was a massive knock from him. Aaron Clark really impressed me again. I've been singing his praises every week, saying he's going to end up as the most underrated signing of the year, and this was another tick in that box. I thought Jackson Ford was huge off the bench too, probably his best performance in recent memory. Thought he changed the game when he checked in. Wade Egan, he was outstanding again as well. 48 tackles for Wade, the third highest tackle maker in the comp at the moment. Loved his work from dummy half too, as always. Jackson Ford, actually, why not dive into some stats from him since I was singing his praises just then. 151 metres, 81 PCMs, 43 tackles off the bench. Did get a massive shift, big minutes there, but I thought he was outstanding. Roger, try saver on Dom Young, another turning point in this game for me, of course, dealing with a high-grade hamstring strain, which we've since learned might keep him out for up to 8 weeks. But that was just a pure heart play, someone that didn't want to let his teammates down. We've seen the breakdown of it, of course, 40-20 from Chad Townsend, and you're wondering how the heck did that happen? But clearly it was because Roger was struggling off the back of that hammy strain after trying to chop down Dommy Young as he was scooting out from dummy half. Then Rod's just pure will, determination, not wanting to let the team cross the try line. He comes up with a massive play like that on Dom to clip him, and then Chance can come across and finish him off. That would have been a massive try-scoring play for the Roosters, and probably a hard one to overcome. So you could say this was a game-winning moment from Rog. It's tough to find players and individuals who will make plays like this for the good of the team, selfless stuff, and that's exactly what Roger did. So I tip my hat to him. Chad Townsend, 42 tackles he made during this game, the third highest in a single game by a halfback. Clearly our attacking plan was to go hard at Chad. He's not known as being a noted defender. Man, did we put him to the test. Just wanted to shout out Chad, being a first five. Geez, the thought of making that many tackles as a playmaker sends shivers down the spine, but good to see. We targeted him as a spot. We went at him all night, and in the end, we came away with the chockie. So a lot to like from that performance in front of a packed-out Mount Smart. Now we go to take on the Tigers before the bye, a 4-point win this week. Fizzing to watch how the lads are going to go against one of the form teams in the competition who, in my opinion, they need a little bit of humbling, bringing back down to earth as well. Everyone's on them at the moment, so I'd love nothing more than seeing our Warriors do that in the last game of the round. But it starts tonight, of course. Round 4, Bunnies taking on the Panthers. I was shocked to see the odds in this game. We'll touch more on that shortly in the punting section. Of course, no Nathan Cleary. He's out with a head knock, so Trent Talau comes in to start in the 7. Jack Cole will partner him, of course, in the 6. For the Bunnies, Alex Johnston comes back. Campbell Graham drops out, though, so that is a bit of a bummer for them. But still, I don't think that this scoreline is going to be as big as people expect. I am backing the Panthers to win purely because it is the Panthers, and I just can't see them losing 3 straight. At the same time, though, I think the Bunnies at a core have a bit of an upset chance about them, so I'm really keen to see how this one plays out. No doubt Ivan will have his lads up and about, ready for it, and this Penrith nursery will probably dish up another superstar. But I'm really interested to watch this game tonight. Roosters take on the Titans tomorrow night. First of your full fizz Friday doubleheader. Chooks, of course, they get back some big ins. They were listed last week but didn't play in Lindsay Collins and Nat Butcher. There's also a bit of talk that potentially Billy Smith could come in. Mark Ngawanganetawase would move to a wing and Dom Young would drop out. That's just rumour mill at the moment, so keen to see how that one plays out. Then for the Titans, like I said before, Keanu Keeney, he won't be in the mixer this week, so I think I'm going to back the Chooks to bounce back in Sydney. Dolphins, Bronx, that'll follow this one. Battle of Brizzy, Suncorp Stadium, Finns. They're in a world of trouble at the moment. Just watching them, nothing excites me, especially on attack. And when you look at this team on paper, they should be scoring points left, right and centre with guys like the Hammer, Herbie Farnworth, Jermaine Isako, Jack Bostock, Cody Nikarima, Isaiah Kotoa. Their forward pack is big as well. But so far for Christian Wolf, it just hasn't clicked. I guess the one positive is maybe for a derby game, they really get up and rip into the bigger brother and the Broncos. For some reason, I feel like they always go pretty well at Suncorp up against the Bronx and make a game of it too. But that'll be a good watch. Then we get to Super Sunday, triple header, and this first game is really intriguing to me. Dragons off a bye, taking on the Storm without Jerome Hughes, Nelson Asafa-Solomona and Nick Meaney. I reckon the Drags will be up for this. Flano would have put them through the ringer last week on the bye week off the back of some really disappointing performances, so I expect them to come out looking for vengeance. David Clemmer will make his Dragons debut off the bench as well. I think there will be an upset this weekend, whether it comes in this game or not. I'm not 100% sure, but I think the Storm, without Hughes, Munster's going to have to run the cutter, and Wishart, they have a good replacement. He's certainly more than capable. But you can't help but think they're going to struggle a little bit without the head-geared assassin, so I'm interested to watch that. Cowboys versus Raiders. This for me screams Raiders, even though it's in Townsville. Joseph Tapine comes back for the Green Machine, and Ricky would have just been revving them up all week, saying the refs don't respect them. No one expects them to go up to Townsville and knock off the Cows. The Cows have been piss poor. I really do think the Canberra Milk at odds are a great shot here. Bulldogs versus Sharks at Shark Park in Sydney. It's unfortunate for the Dogs. No kicks, no Birdo. Although I will say I thought Bailey Hayward was really good last week. But I would have loved to have seen these two teams go at each other at full strength. For the Sharks, I just think they'll be too strong across the park for this Doggies team. Defensively, though, the Dogs have been locked in. So if they can limit the points, they'll make a real game of this one. And I expect that to be a tight watch. Manly up against the Eels. First game of your doubleheader on Sunday. Sunday roast, bums on seats stuff. It's at 4 Pines, Manly in third, the Eels in 17th. This should be a rugby league pounding. I can't see the Eels putting up much of a fight. Dylan Walker not lacing up just yet. He'll probably be in the mixer next week. Manly, they welcome back Tommy Turbo as well. Did suffer a bit of a blow. Taniela Paseka ruptured Achilles, so he'll be a bit of a loss in their forward pack. But perfect timing. They get Nathan Brown back. And I actually thought last week Tauki Aho was exceptional there too. Old Aoli, the condiment, he'll come in. Aloye to start at prop as well. So they've got some depth in that pack. I think this is going to be a cricket score as Parramatta march towards a wooden spoon. Then last game of the round, can't wait for this one. That saying, you save the best to last, well and truly speaks the truth right here. Tigers 4th, Warriors in 7th. When was the last time the Tigers have been in 4th? It hasn't been for a bloody long time. Good to see the Wars in the 8 as well. And $2.30 underdogs. Again, more on that in the punting segment. But shit, the TAB are being good to us this week. That, to me, is juicy. In terms of the Warriors side, of course, no Roger Tuivasa-Sheck this week, out with a hamstring. So in comes Rocco Berry to centre. Ali shifts to the other side, and then Adam Pompey takes Roger's spot on the wing. The rest of the side remains unchanged, except for, of course, whatever we do in the 14 jersey with Dylan Walker no longer available. The extended benches, Tamaire Martin, Jacob Laban, Healy, Bunty Afoa, and Ed Kossi. So one of them will come in for walks. We'll be watching that closely. For the Tigers, same 17 for them. There could be a couple possible late scratchings, though, due to injury. Skelton, he was struggling last week, as was Samuela Fainu with injury. So hopefully those two get ruled out for Warriors fans' sake. I'm sure Benji will be having his fingers crossed. But this is a Tigers side that, in all fairness, has been a good watch. They throw the ball around. They play an exciting brand of footy. It can be quite lateral at times, but then with Big Whanua Pole and Terrell May up the guts, they do have a great four-pack too, which needs to be respected. Those two, especially Terrell May, have been right up there with the best props in the competition to start the year. Best thing about it for us, though, they will take on the Fishnet. Fisher Harris and Mitchie Barnett, who have been equally as impressive. They were great again last week, and they'll be licking their lips at the thoughts of taking on this young propping duo who are catching headlines at the moment. Keys to victory for me, again, it's about laying a platform in the middle, getting through our sets, dominating the ruck, getting quick play the ball speed, allowing our halves and our spine, Wade, Chanel, Lukey, Matt, to get out and start ball playing off the back of good ball, and I reckon we can rip up the Tigers. Mentioned they're sitting in fourth, but when you look at their start to the season, they've had wins against the Eels and Finns, sides which are really struggling, down in 17th and 15th on the ladder. Then they went down to the Knights as well, who are sitting in 10th. So this is their biggest test of the season so far. I see a world where we go out there and do a number on them. I also see a world where this one plays out tight. Win's a win though. Like I said, we just need the 2 points here by next week. So that would make it a 4-point win before rolling into Amy Park on Sunday, April the 13th to pull off the ambush at Amy. How bloody good. So get up the lads. Hopefully another 2 points, a massive win to continue the momentum at the start of our season. Vegas, well and truly in the rearview mirror. Walks, we're going to miss ya, but on we march. Get up the boys, in Webby we trust. Warriors 13+. Weekly wrap, we'll punch this one out, keep her a little short and sharper this week. Shout out to the All Whites, 3-0 win up against New Caledonia at the Garden of Eden during the week to book our first World Cup appearance in 15 years. Unreal stuff. Of course, the USA, Canada, Mexico all co-hosting that tournament next year. That is going to be unreal. Always get around the Football World Cup. It's probably outside the Olympics, the biggest sporting event in the world. It might even be bigger than the Olympics. It probably is for viewership, to be fair, but I can't wait to see the All Whites back on that stage. Not gonna lie, did lose a bit of impact considering how much easier it is for us now to qualify after they've changed the rules, but still this is a massive achievement. We now get the chance to go over there and represent in front of millions, in fact maybe billions of eyeballs, so well done to Chris Wood and the team. Geez, it was squeaky bum time there for a little bit, thought we were going to pump them by more, but in the end 3-0, still a pretty good score. Shout out to the Black Caps. Last T20 tonight when I'm recording this, but they've wrapped up the series anyway, up against Pakistan, so well done to them. Finn Allen going unreal, fresh off a man of the match performance after appearing on the Surly pod. Read into that what you will. Gutted to not see him in the one-day squad. It's a strong squad though. Some big omissions though, so I was a little bit surprised there. Carlos Oldberg, big dub for him on the weekend too. Shoots them up the rankings. A points win up against Jan Blahovic. Maybe now he's in title contention, might need one more fight just to really get himself in the mixer once that whole title rematch with Pereira has played out. But well done to Carlos. I think that's an 8-fight win streak now, could well be 9. So Team CKB doing great things. And lastly, Liam Lawson, rumours he's out of the Red Bull seat already, replaced by Yuki for Japan. At time of recording, not 100% concrete, but there's enough momentum around this now for me to believe that this could be true, and if true, that is brutal. 2 races in, pretty damn cutthroat stuff, especially considering there's been some trouble with the car as well, so it's not all 100% on him. Hopefully it's not the case. I'm sure you guys will know more by the time you listen to this. At the same time though, it could be the best thing for him to swap with Yuki, go back down into that Red Bull feeder team, get himself in a car that suits him more, get his confidence back and start getting some points finishes too, and then have another crack at it later. But shit, is it cutthroat in the top leagues in the F1, and I'll be gutted for Liam if his first stint at Red Bull was reduced to just 2 races, and yes, 2 pretty poor performances, but not all of that was on him, so it'll be a little bit tough to swallow. Watch this space though. Punting chat time now. Let's have a cheeky little Carmichael punt, of course, courtesy of the TAB. If you're not already a customer, download their app, head along to the website, sign yourself up. You won't regret it. As always, it's 18+, and please gamble responsibly. Remember too, there is that winning team and margin code in play. Type in the code MARGIN in the promotion code section to claim yourself the offer, and then have a punt on any NRL game this week weekends, winning team and margin. If you get the winning team right, you get the margin wrong, you'll get your money back in bonus cash up to $20. So say, for example, Warriors 13 plus, you try eke the extra value out of it. We win 1 to 12, you'll get your money back in bonus cash up to $20. And that applies to any NRL game this weekend. You can only use the code once though, so don't go getting greedy. But get around that. Again, the code is margin. NRL this week, tonight's game, Bunnies, Panthers. Bunnies $3.50, Panthers $1.30. The Rabbitohs have only won 2 of their last 14 games against the Panthers. The Panthers have won their last 5 straight at a core, including 2 grand finals. Paul Alamotti, he scored 7 tries in his last 5 games. $1.55. He's out on the sting this week, so he's lean, but he's still a great bet. Welcome back to Bunnies Flyer, the prolific try scorer, the meat pie addict in AJ, Alex Johnston. He is back from an Achilles injury too. 4 tries in his last 2 games. He's paying $2.05. That's pretty juicy for a bloke like him. Stats suggest Panthers will get them. I do think their forward pack has a big advantage too up against this Bunnies pack. At the same time, I do think the Bunnies are paying big overs here. A Panthers side without Edwards, without Cleary, at $1.30 favourite against the Bunnies at $3.50 does seem a little stiff. For me, the line is a great bet here of plus 10.5. That's pretty massive. Either team try bet option to win between 12.5 points at $2 is juicy too. It's paying higher than the line, so effectively you're just getting 2 more points for an extra 20 odd cents. Don't mind that either. My same game multi for this one, I am going to pack that line. I'm going to take it at 10.5, and I'm going to go into Alamotti and AJ, the 2 lads that the stats suggest. Back them in at $5.88 rugby league cents. Your full fizz Friday, Roosters, they host the Titans. Roosters $1.48, Titans $2.65. The Roosters have won 11 straight games against the lads from the Goldie. Dommy Young, he scored 15 tries in 12 games at Allianz. Didn't score last week, thanks to Rogers' heroics, of course, so he is due. Teddy, he scored 10 tries in his last 8 games against the Titans too, so loves playing them. My same game multi for this one, I'm backing the Roosters to win. I love a bit of Dommy Young, first, second or third try scorer. There's a little bit of chat around maybe Dommy dropping out. Mark Nawanga-Netawase moving to the wing. Billy Smith coming into the centres. But for now, let's get on Dommy, first, second or third, and then let's chuck in a Teddy anytime. $7.76 for that. I just think the Chooks will be too good for a Titans side without Keanu Keeney and on the road as well. Next game, Dolphins versus Broncos. Battle of Brizzy. Time to get busy. This is always an interesting one. Historically, the games have been really tight too. Dolphins, they've looked shithouse in the opening few weeks. Broncos, still not at their best last week, but still got to win at home against the Cows, and they go in $1.20 favourites here. Dolphins at $4.60. Ex-Warrior Jesse Arthurs, still gutted we let him go, or actually we didn't let him go. He came to us on loan, but gutted we couldn't work out a deal to extend him. He scored 6 tries in his last 4 NRL games. Fuck me, that blonde dye in his hair is doing wonders for him, looks-wise and try-scoring-wise. He's paying $1.42 here. He's just automatically straight on your bet slip. Former Bronco Herbie Farnworth, he scored 4 tries in his last 2 games at Suncorp, up against his old team, of course. Scored last week. He's paying $3.05 to dot here. And then Jake Averillo, he scored 4 tries in his last 3 games against the Bronx. He's on a 4-game drought though, so it depends how you look at it, your mindset. You could say he's due, or you could just put a line through him and say he's not in try-scoring form at the moment, but he is paying $3.45. Something for you to calculate there. My same game multi, though, I'm going all-out Bronx, backing them to win, Arthurs to score, and I like Katoni Staggs. Coming back from injury, he's paying $2.10. That's pretty good value for him. $3.37 for that same gamer. Nothing wild there, but hey, if you can bank a win here, then that'll see your full fizz Friday round out in good form. Super Saturday, first game, love this one. Dragons $3.05, Storm $1.38, of course. No headgear assassin for Melbourne either. The line here is 9.5, and I mentioned that because I'll touch on it shortly. The Dragons, they've won 3 of their last 4 games against the Storm at Netstrata Jubilee, where this one will be played. Christian Tuipulotu, old show me the money. He scored 6 tries in his last 4 games. Not allowed to celebrate anymore. So maybe his fizz levels will be down. Old Flano, he slapped him across the cheeks, the facial ones, not the arse, and said, pull your head in, horse. You're not celebrating tries until we win games. He's $1.87. Seems great value, though. Ali Katoa, he scored 5 tries in 6 games against the Dragons. He scored in each of his last 2 games as well, paying $2.15 this week. No Hughes to put him through gaps, and saying that Wishart still a pretty unreal replacement. Xavier Coates and Pepe, they both scored 3 tries in their last 2 games. And interesting, Shane Flanagan coach teams have won 5 of their last 7 against the Storm. Loves coming up against Bellamy. Those stats and the fact the Dragons are coming in off the back of a bye, Storm without Hughes, couple more injuries too. I reckon I'm taking this line, 9.5 in favour of the Drags. I think the Storm win, but the Dragons make it a tight affair, and this one also does have a little bit of upset potential for me. So, first leg of my same gamer, take the line 9.5, then I'm going Tui Palotu and Coates. Back in the stats there, $5.56. Cowboys, Raiders, Cows $1.90, Raiders $1.90. The bookies can't split them, which certainly does shock me. The Cowboys have won their last 6 straight against the Raiders. The Raiders have only won 1 of their last 5 at Queensland Country Bank Stadium too. Not an easy place to go and win historically, but recent form suggests you can throw those stats out the window. The Cowboys have conceded 104 points in their first 3 games. They've looked pretty hopeless, especially on defence. I reckon Toddy Payton's hanging on to his job by the skin of his sacks. The Raiders, they weren't that bad last week. Yes, they got humped on the scoreboard. I thought the refereeing certainly didn't help them. They welcome back Joseph Tapine, as mentioned too. I'm all over the Raiders here for your try scorer, Xavier Savage. He'll play his 50th NRL game this week. Didn't score last week, was on a 4-game scoring streak prior to that though. I like him here at $1.67. Same game multi, I reckon we get a little leery. We go Raiders, we go Savage, and then we throw in a Joseph Tapine at $6.50 just to juice it. Fresh off suspension, Payne Haas ran through that Cowboys pack last week with ease, and I reckon Tapine could do the same. It's a brave play that could make this one a bit of a donation, but let's roll with it. $15.47. That multi is paying right there. Sharks $1.26, Doggies $3.90. Sharks, they've won 6 of their last 7 games against the Dogs. The Dogs haven't won at Shark Park since 2011. Sammy Stonestreet, he scored 4 tries in his last 4 games at Shark Stadium as well. Shark centre Jesse Ramian, he'll play his 150th NRL game. The Ramen Noodle, he's paying $2.40. Kale Iro, he's scored 4 tries in his last 3 games. Britton Nikara has scored in all 3 of his games this season as well. So a lot of Shark stats there for your try scorers. In terms of the same game multi, I'm going Sharkies here to win at home. I think it is going to be tight though. Then I like Stone Street and Ramian for a milestone meaty, $4.39. Super Sunday, Manly back at home and up against the Wooden Spoon favourites. $1.15 they're paying. Parramatta $5.60. Manly, they've won 7 of their last 8 games at home. The Eels have only won 1 of their last 6 at Four Pines as well. Tommy Trbojevic, of course, named to play this week. 16 tries in his last 16 games on home soil. Ruben Garrick, he scored 13 tries in 12 games against Para. Fresh off scoring 4 last week. A quaddie. Unreal scenes from him for your Para try scorers. Fox, he scored 4 tries in his last 4 games, including one last week in his para-season debut at $1.95. And Will Penasini, 5 tries in his last 5 games, paying $3.20. Seems good value as well. But I'm all over Manly here, and I've decided to mix it up a bit for my same game multi. Ignoring the stats, I am taking Manly to win. Then I'm going DCE, statement, spiteful try. He's paying $3.15. I reckon he scores. And then I'm going to multi him up with the guacamole. Mole Olakawatu at $2.10 to snap a 2-game drought for him on that deadly right edge. That is paying $5.54. Final game of the round, and this is where we start to rub our hands with glee, because the Warriors, me oh my, are we big outsiders. Tigers $1.60, Warriors paying $2.35 to me. That seems wild. Tigers, they're aiming for 3 straight wins to start this season for the first time since 2018. Unfortunately, that's not going to happen. The Warriors will win our last 7 straight against the Tigers, you absolute beauty. And interestingly, 6 of those 7 wins have been 1-12 as well, which is paying $3.60, an absolute bargain. Warriors 13 plus at $5.50 is a bargain too, and that is what I'm going to be using my margin bonus cash back promo bet on right there. Swing for the 550 of Warriors 13 plus. If we 1-12 them, you're still happy we won the game and you get your bonus cash back. So that's not a bad shout. A good way to use your insurance in my humble opinion. Sunia Taruva, he scored 5 tries in his last 2 games, deadly out on that wing. Ali, he scored 3 tries in his last 2. He's paying $2.25 here. Has moved to the other side though of the paddock, flexing his versatility. We've only won 1 of our last 6 games at Campbelltown Sports Stadium, but you can fuck that stat off. And bizarrely, the Tigers have the best defensive record in the NRL after 3 rounds. That seems bizarre. Your same game multi, I'm going Warriors into Rocco Berry on that edge that we love to attack down, of course. As I said before, Ali switch, so Rocco's on his spot. 345, I like that. Then I'm going to multi it up with a CHT. Why not make it 3 straight games with 3 tries? Caution. Of course, there is a chance Tamate Martin could come in and wear the 6 jersey CHT into 14. We don't quite know how it's all going to play out. That was one of the 3 scenarios I pitched before. So maybe watch that one closer to where the whistle gets us underway. But 17.50 for a Warriors into Rocco and Chanel. I reckon that is absolutely worth a crack. Super Rugby, recording this pre-team naming on your Wednesday Arvo, so apologies if by the time you hear this it's a little bit irrelevant. It shouldn't be though, just the 4 games, so I'm confident to do it. Canes $1.30 favourites, they kick us off up against the Tars at 3.30. The line is 8.5 points, best back margin, Canes 13 plus, and I'm a little bit surprised that it is that one-sided. I like the Canes 1-12 here at $2.70. I think they'll be too strong, but I don't expect the Tars to roll over. No Harry Godfrey for the Canes. They get a couple bodies back though, so they will be boosted. The Tars, they'll be heading over here confident though after beating the Brumbies for the first time in 7 years. And they're not a bad football side at all. Placed above them on the ladder, so to be 3.30 dogs is a bit disrespectful. For your try scorers, I like Roigard and Naholo. They're my 2 staples for the Canes. I would chuck a love in there for a trifecta, but I think it's safer to just go Roids into Naholo and ride that home. Then following that, Brumbies up against the Landers, so a Friday night double header. 2 Trans-Tasman Derby games too. Looking forward to these 2. Brumbies $1.30 favourites, Landers $3.30. The line is 9.5, and the best backed winning team in margin is Brumbies 13 plus. So clearly the punters, they're jumping off the Landers. It seems like after that loss to the Reds last week, that was the final straw. It was actually the Reds' first win in Dunedin in 12 years as well. So lots of history made for Aussie teams last week. The Brumbies, they'll be filthy with their performance last week. I thought they were well below their usual standards, and I think they will bounce back here with a win. For your try scorers, I have Caleb Tangito for the Landers. I like Muirhead for the Brums to multi those 2 up with Brumbies to win, and that's a nice little swing on a Friday. Super Saturday, this could be a chance to load up. Points and try scorers galore. Crusaders $1.06 favourites, Moana $7. The Cranberry Cruisers at home, clear favourites, no surprises there. The line is 21.5 points, which is quite a lot, and your best back winning team in margin isn't a surprise when you're a $1.06 favourite. Of course, it's going to be Crusaders 13 plus. A win at home here, we'll see the Cruisers move into top spot. What a contrast to last year. Not many Rob Penny. He was holding on to his job only just. I think they do that for sure and sit atop of the ladder at the end of this round. They've won 4 of their last 5 games. They're on a bit of a roll. Again, recording this before team naming, but I wouldn't be surprised to see a little bit of rotation. They do have depth though, so I still think they'll be good enough. I don't expect Moana to roll over fully, but I do think the Crusaders win fairly comfortably here. I like your try scorers, the wings, whoever they are. Shafi, Haki, Sevu Reese, the Big Mac, back them both in. You can probably back them in for doubles too. Macca Springer and Sevu both tied for second in the comp for top try scorers. Pretty crazy for Macca, given his limited opportunities. Of course, though, that 5 meaties in one game certainly helps him there. I do think this will be a power play game to try and extract some extra value because try scorers are going to be at short odds. I do like that Crusaders hooker if he gets another crack, and then also, of course, Preston if he gets the start. Loves himself some meat. And then the final game of the round for your Super Rugby, Reds $1.18 favourites, Force $4.50 outsiders. The line is 1 to 12 best backed, Reds 13 plus at $1.90. I was surprised to see it was this one-sided. Reds at home, Force typically don't travel well, so I get it, but at the same time, they're a much improved side from last year, sitting in 6th on the ladder at the moment. I'll back the Reds, but I'm not as confident on the margin as the odds should suggest I am. For your try scorers, I like Dangunu for the Reds. I like Tizano, the comp's leading try scorer for the Force. He's been a fantasy cheat code. Pretty much saved me last week. He's been one of the best try-scoring sevens, or the best try-scoring seven in world rugby lately. The bloke loves a meaty, so chuck him in. I'll back the Reds to win, but I do think it could be reasonably tight. My Super Rugby best bets for this round, perfect round multi. I'm going Brums and Reds head-to-head. Canes 1 to 12, Crusaders alternative start -6.5. That's paying $4.88. I don't mind those odds at all. Then my other bet is going to be Canes 1 to 12, which is paying $2.70 by the way, into the Crusaders wingers. A nice little combo of some sort there for those two to combine for maybe 2, 3, 4 plus, and salute to round out our punting this weekend. Go well at the TAB, of course, green ticks on bet slips. That's always the goal, and hopefully that's the way it plays out for you this weekend. That's the podcast all done and dusted for another week. As always, cheers for your ears. Hope you enjoyed that chat with Shooter and the rest of the yarns too. It's a Super Sunday for Warriors fans. Can't wait for that last game. 8:15 kickoff. Not so fizzed on that, but at the same time, a great way to unwind off the back of a huge weekend. Make that the last sporting event you watch, and it's a famous win. Kind of is poetic in its own way. Up the mighty coat, up the Warriors, and I'll catch you back here, same time, same place next week. How good.